This is turn 3 of Sunday Blitz. Turnanog profited a Banshee, which is kind of interesting. I believe that the reason that they did that is that they are resource capped on sacred production in the beginning. So they recruited the Banshee because she's a mage with leadership, similar to why I recruited the Nahuali. And then by profiting her, she can then lead a group of up to 10 sacreds and then apply the bless to them. It's kind of weird because usually you would just want to recruit like an elf with that comes with holy path, like either the She Lord or the She Champion. So yeah, that's a little bit weird, but they can still at least lead expansion parties with that, and I guess when they're site searching, which is usually what you use the Banshees to do, that can site search for holy as well. Anyways, so let's go ahead and take a look at our expansion battles. So the Salt Plains was the Waste Province, which we're just attacking with our totally sacrificial squads of warriors. So, interestingly, this one's got a mage, a pyromancer here, and whenever a province does have a mage, it actually assigns infantry units to guard them. So, they've got a full bodyguard set for that guy. And this is actually kind of okay for us because it means that those guys are not going to be in the front. They're going to be instead just sitting back here. And since the whole point of our battle formation is hoping to first rout these guys, and then rout these guys, and then win by HP rout, this is definitely good for us. So this starts out working pretty well. Everyone's just shooting up the militia, who are getting whittled down as they close in. The F1 mage is casting fire darts and fireflies from very far away, so that means it's relatively inaccurate, and while it's doing some damage, it also seemed to cause some friendly fire as well. So first the militia out, just as planned. Then the light infantry out, and this is enough to trigger an HP rout. So we don't ever have to deal with this group of 5 infantry. It looks like he actually spent his fire gems on fatigue reductions. That's kind of interesting, because he definitely didn't summon any elementals or anything. So that was great. We did lose a bunch of our warriors in the process, both from the pyromancer spells and from the infantry once they closed in. Looks like he killed one, and they killed most of the rest. But that's fine, since, like I mentioned, we definitely don't value these guys, and we managed to get 2 provinces out of them. Here in Mark, we attacked with our sacreds, and like I mentioned, these guys are set to hold and attack rear. So these guys are all moving forward, and as you can see, they're leaving the commanders behind them. And the sacreds then drop down on the back lines, instantly killing one of those commanders. And then because they have quickness, they're able to quickly run over and kill the rest. Even the ones that didn't drop on the back lines and are engaging the infantry right over here are just absolutely murderous. It's worth noting that some of these guys were basically like stuck behind the Eagle Warriors, which meant that they were fighting them. But with their luck and decent defense, and the fact that these guys have the huge attack penalty from their retreating, they're not able to hit or hurt our Eagle Warriors at all. And here you can see them in their full glory. This one did manage to get an affliction, so we'll check out this guy. So 15 strength, 18 attack, and quickness means that they're absolutely murderous, and with luck, they're relatively unlikely to die. Their 22 combat speed basically helps out their initial lance strike to deal even more damage, and then after they do manage to get a kill with that, then their damage goes up even further. So these guys are just amazing, and we're going to keep using them. We've actually gotten all the way up to Blood 2, thanks to the fact that our Pretender is sitting there researching with 56 RP, but because of the way that research scaling works, it's going to get more and more difficult to research blood magic as we get to the higher levels. Oh, and I also forgot to mention, because this is a small blitz, we're playing with magic set to easy, since otherwise it would basically be only like sacreds and troops running over things before the blitz actually ended. So, yeah, with magic set to easy, we'll be getting our oddlodls out a little bit more quickly than we would in a real game, but we also probably won't be playing for quite as long, so having the research set to easy basically just means that we're more likely to see relevant magic come out. We're going to be recruiting a little bit more of our infantry guys, basically all the way up to the rec point limit. The reason for that is that this squad is sufficiently depleted that we need to send it back to the capital to re-up. I forgot to set the province defense to 1 here. In general, you want to do that just to prevent your lands from getting scout captured. But I'll just do that next turn, or whenever I remember to check and increase the province defense here. I don't think that forgetting to do it this early is hugely impactful, just because we're relatively unlikely to have an enemy scout all the way over here already. And that's turn 3. This is turn 4 of Sunday Blitz, and we have 2 more expansion battles. Both of them are just with our Eagle Warriors, and both of them are against, well, it doesn't even really matter. This one's against a regular province type, but because they're set to attack rear, they're just going to drop in on these commanders here and instantly destroy them, and then the enemy army is routed. Just like last time, a couple of them are behind the infantry, so they're like in the way of their escape, but because they're just absolute murder machines, they're still going to just kill them. So we don't take any losses there, and our scout prophet even manages to kill 1 person with his watery death smite spell. Here in Urfel, we're taking on Horse Tribe, and these guys are relatively more difficult because they have 17 base defense on the Horse Tribe chiefs, and the Horse Tribes themselves have 16 defense and even a lance attack, so that means that if they do manage to hit back on the Eagles, they'll be doing a fair amount of damage. So these guys are running up, they're shooting, and archery in general is relatively good against these low protection, luck-reliant guys, because there's lots of instances of a small amount of damage, which means that if they do get hit by enough arrows, then they're liable to just die. However, soon enough, the Eagles do drop down, and with their high attack from their Bless, like even before Blood Surge, their attack is at 13. After the Blood Surge, their attack is at 15. They just have no problem tearing up these chiefs, and subsequently mowing down the cavalry as well. With how quick they are, even the cavalry don't manage to escape, and we manage to kill 24 out of the 25 before they can even retreat, and we don't lose any Eagles doing so. So we're going to go ahead and try to do the same to this province, which is Amazons and Pegasus Riders. In Dominions 4, finding sites like this could potentially be useful because you could, or finding province types like this could be useful because you can then recruit the Pegasus Riders to take advantage of your large and fun Bless. In Dominions 5, because of the recruitment point limit and the fact that cavalry and elite troops in general tend to have very high rec point requirements, you basically can't usually afford to get these Pegasus Riders at all. However, you still can take advantage of the Crystal Amazons, which are A1, S1 mages, and that provides some excellent diversity for Mictlan. So this is going to be definitely a great province for us to have. Over here, it's just another easy province. They did change the AI for Pegasus Riders, which actually makes this province type quite a bit more dangerous, and we'll see just how dangerous they are next. This is turn 5 of Sunday Blitz. We are all the way up to Blood Magic 3, so almost to Ocelotls already. Here in Pugria, this is the easier province, which we're expanding into, and it's just a bunch of indie commanders, which are going to get zerked by the Eagle Warriors shortly. And with that, the province is captured, and all those guys have sufficiently nerfed attack stats from the fact that they're retreating that they don't manage to hit the Eagle Warriors at all, so the Eagle Warriors kill all 28 guys without any trouble. Here in Anvast, we are attacking a throne province. So for this one, we brought all of the guys from the starting army right over here to do some shooting and to basically be a hit point anchor in case these guys get killed by the retreating army. Or not a hit point anchor, but like just a hit point anchor and just kind of like a general battlefield anchor, I guess. While these guys are going to be doing the attack rear thing to hopefully take out all of the commanders. Because this was an unscouted throne, this is definitely a risky maneuver. And as you can see here, there's a bunch of barbarian chiefs who are starting out in the middle of all these wolf tribe archers. So these guys are going to be very difficult for our attack rear eagles to get to, and the wolf tribe shamans can potentially do some magic to mess things up as well. So, things start out with a bunch of shots being shot at our shielded guys, which is fine. Because these guys have been set to fire, these guys are all shooting their slings, whereas the feathered warrior is trying to run up to shoot his javelin. So unfortunately this means that the expensive standard guy is ahead of the rest of our guys, but it also means that everyone is still held nice and far back. Meanwhile, the eagle warriors have landed in the backline and amongst the archers, where they instantly kill one of the shamans, and then the second shaman. With their excellent battle stats, they're able to just chew through all these guys very quickly. And then with these guys routed, they fly up and then land back down to go in and amongst these guys. However, these guys, with their 2 attacks, have managed to absolutely destroy our relatively weak warriors, who have only modest defense and low protection. So they just get absolutely destroyed by the huge attack density from these guys. And with that, everyone has routed. However, there seems to have been a replay bug here, because in the actual battle, we killed both of the barbarian chiefs, whereas only one died in that battle report. Either way, we did lose our expansion party, and we lost everyone except for the Mictlan priest, who had managed to retreat, but we did also kill all the commanders here. So that means that we can capture this province with basically just a single scout, or literally anything, or we can just hit it with a bunch of guys set to guard commander, so that they can't actually get in and engage on these guys. So this is basically a free province next turn, even if we did lose the expansion party there. Here in Erisea, we actually lost this expansion party as well, because the AI was changed to have the Pegasus Riders immediately drop down and attack. So while these Eagle Warriors are blessed and therefore very strong offensively, they're fighting a bunch of Lancers, so flying Lancers in melee range, and they're even in melee range of our Mictlan Priest as well. So the Priest actually does pretty well for himself. He casts Leeching Touch and manages to kill one of them, and our Eagle Warriors are able to cut through these guys relatively well also, but they still have 17 defense, so they're able to avoid a bunch of the attacks from even our quickened high attack Eagle Warrior murder machines. And because of their lances and hoof attacks giving them a fair amount of attack density, and the fact that they've got the Eagle Warriors surrounded, they're able to kill them back as well. So, as a result, our army is routed. Several of the, it looks like the, Pegasus Rider squad was routed as well. So while 3 of them remain on the battlefield, 7 of them either died or left, which means, 10 of them actually died or left. So that means that there's only 4 of these guys left. So definitely another failure. We lost the Mictlan Priest and 5 of these precious Eagle Warriors in the process. But once again, we managed to kill most of the difficult guys in this province. Well, it means there's going to be only 4 Pegasus Riders in the next one. So as long as we can bring a couple of extra warriors the next time we try in order to block for our commander and the Eagle Warriors, probably we're going to set our Eagle Warriors to just hold an attack flyer so that they kill the Lancers first. We should be able to capture this one next time we come across it. Here in the Salt Plains, we get some free Death Gems, which is nice. We didn't even have our luck spread to there yet, and it looks like we also forgot to buy additional province defense in a couple places. So, with our Mictlan Priest having retreated into this far, we're going to be building our city palisade here. Because Mictlan is not at all resource gated, we're going to be basically trying to just cluster up our forts around our capital as much as possible. We're going to be attacking into this with these guys set to hold and attack rear. It's just our normal attack thing, even though there's no commanders there. Hopefully the Eagle Warriors won't get between too many of the Wolf Tribe Warriors and they're retreating and get killed. Since with the high attack density that the Wolf Warriors have, they definitely can cause some casualties. Meanwhile, because this guy had retreated here instead of into our capital, we can just have him start those city palisades, and then this commander, which we had recruited in here to do that fort production, can move over and take over for next turn. At which point this guy can either start building the temple and lab that thing's going to need, or go back to our capital to take over moving guys around. We're basically just recruiting the same style of expansion party of Eagle Warriors and just general fighty dudes to like just fill out the army, so that while the Eagle Warriors are charging forward, there's still something for the regular, or for the guys who have run forward to hit. Hopefully they can even be in melee range so that the enemies don't turn around and start fighting the Eagle Warriors, and they'll be able to help chase down the retreating guys to help avoid casualties from our Sacreds. So we're going to be taking over this province for sure this turn, and that's cool because it means that we can get a throne, and like our Pretender, it can cause some Dom spread on its own. So that's going to basically help maintain our little Dom bubble without needing to bloodsack. And we are going to be trying to take over that Wolf Tribe province as well. Because that's not a throne, it looks like it's much less heavily defended. So while the Wolf Tribe guys are dangerous, we should be able to take it with our Prophet and these 7 Eagle Warriors. And that's the turn. This is turn 6 of the Sunday Blitz. For Witch Haven, we are taking on another Wolf Tribe province, but luckily this one is way smaller. It still has a Barbarian Chief in like kind of the middle of the archers, but as we saw last time, once the Blessed Eagle Warriors jump down, they have no problem carving those archers right up, and they even manage to, or this guy here even manages to kill the Barbarian Chief. So with that, they just instantly destroyed that Wolf Tribe province, 48 kills on the Eagle Warriors and 1 on our Scout from his great smiting, so no trouble there at all. And then here in Anvast, we are taking the commanderless throne province. Because the Indies routed instantly, while the Eagles are still set to hold an attack, most of the guys managed to escape, so only the one crippled guy who was lagging behind gets destroyed by the Eagle drop. So that is 2 more provinces captured, which is okay, helping make up for the failures from last turn. Here in Emil, we get a huge number of water gems, which is awesome. We're not going to be able to spend these for quite some time, though. So this guy, instead of going to expand right up here, is going to jump over here in order to cover this province. The reason that we're doing that is that we neighbor Tianchi over here, and because it's a relatively small game, we can expect people to play more aggressively in general. In particular, I'm liable to be just attacked on sight by the people that I'm playing with, unless there's a very good reason to fight someone else. Since I tend to do pretty well in these blitzes, they know that I'm like kind of public enemy number 1. So yeah, I think that if I can scare this guy off by destroying that army if he attacks into me, then I'll be able to you know, protect myself from him. So I don't think that he's going to attack into me if this thing gets destroyed, whereas if it wins, then he's probably going to continue attacking me and potentially even, like, settling into a war, basically, whereas if I can just scare him off, then I can probably be reasonably protected on this front at least, until other people start fighting me as well. So these things here are roads, which in Dominions 5 actually increase movement between the provinces. So while in Dominions 4, the Eagle Warriors would definitely not have map move 3, neither would the Mictlan Priest, when moving along these roads, they actually do, which is awesome. These guys, however, are a little too slow. The Moon Warriors have only map move 8, as do the Feathered Warriors, so I'm going to leave these guys behind in this Throne province here, and then these guys are going to swoop in over here and guard my province from the potential assault from Tianchi. This guy is going to set up our city palisades while this guy builds a lab, and then in our capital we're just recruiting another expansion party. We're not going to bother recruiting too many more of these guys because I'm going to move this guy up this way so he'll be able to pick up the 4 guys who are left behind here, so he doesn't need to recruit for this turn from the capital. I'll most likely be resuming recruiting more guys next turn. Unless I move down into here, in which case I need to recruit only 3 more guys because the Mictlan Priests can lead only 3. These guys are going down over here in order to try to capture this farm and then potentially just expand more into this area down here. So for this turn, we're actually only attacking one more indie province, which is a Woodsman Blowpipe plus Vineman province. So this is most likely a Bloodhenge Druid province. They didn't used to have Vinemen guarding them, but now they do apparently. And then once he's attacked, or once he's captured this province, he can potentially take on the monkeys, or maybe the Bakemono. And that's the turn.